podcast dad. Not just doing our usual introduction and witty banter and camaraderie to start the show today. We were made aware of an incident that took place over the weekend involving our good friend of the show, Bryce Cannon, an incident that took place at Platinum Championship Wrestling. And quite frankly, this footage is pretty disturbing. So I would suggest that if you have any smaller viewers, that you escort them from the room at this time. Yeah, so I don't know Naja personally. I know that Troops doesn't either, and you don't know us either. So this is just heinous. How dare you? Bryce Cannon is your world champion, and that's the respect that you're going to show him. It's just I don't know what the hell, dude. How do you feel about this?
My shirt says yeah. My heart says no. This was a terrible incident that happened to one of the greatest world champions we've ever seen. He's been graceful enough to be on the show with us. He's been very, very graceful with his time. And to have him disrespected like this it's an injustice. And we were going to do whatever we need to do for Bryce. You can see on the crawl, #justice for Bryce. Let's get that trending. Let's get that going. Let's get this guy suspended. Absolutely heinous crime. You can see Bryce is a neck brace. He's not 100%. Yeah. He's not ready for this. It's ridiculous.
And seems like he's got a big match coming up in October, and he wants to go. He wants to be at 100%. But the fact, this kind of stuff doesn't help him. That doesn't help their brand. It's just idiotic. It's disrespectful. Again, we don't know these guys, but you also don't know me, all right? I have helped Bryce Cannon win championship gold in the state of Georgia before, and I will go to great lengths to make sure that he keeps championship gold in the state of Georgia. So if any of you guys want to come on the show and explain yourselves as to why you would take such an action, our door is always open. But we're not gonna let this stand.
And don't you worry, I can file paperwork for Mr. Cincinnati, and I'll do it as well as I can for whatever we need.
Yeah. It's just, seriously, touch grass is utterly inappropriate. But anyway, we've addressed that. But now we're moving on, man. We had a pretty fun weekend this past weekend. A surprise return to SmackDown. The Rock showed up for the first time in 4 years, dude.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Pat McAfee. That was a surprise as well.
It was, but that's all well and good. I've seen Pat McAfee this year already, though. I have not seen Dwayne in a WWE ring this year, though.
There's a couple surprises with Pat McAfee, The Rock, and the segment was Austin Theories. A lot of surprises going on. Yeah, The Rock came back. What a pop. He was in Colorado for college game day and Big Noon or whatever it was for the college football game down there. I know he was in the locker room with Dion for a couple of the speeches, and he's out there doing that. But yeah, it was anytime he comes back, man, it's a big deal. The crowd went absolutely insane. That was one of the loudest pops I've heard on TV in a while. I'm sure the TV number did great when everybody heard The Rock was on. And we had a fun little moment with John Cena in The Rock. So, yeah, it's always cool to see The Rock come back.
For sure. And the ratings definitely did. I forget the exact numbers. And, we're not necessarily a ratings podcast or, really follow the numbers. But it did, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. And it did, up the ratings for that particular show. And that's this is pretty surprising. Especially because this was not something I heard about until maybe an hour before SmackDown was supposed to go on the air. And I'm just kind of thinking, whatever, rumor mill. And I really didn't think a whole lot of it until as I was sitting at dinner and started scrolling X. And lo and behold, the great one showed up to a monstrous ovation.
Yeah. And peek behind the curtain, we were on a call and I saw the Bleacher Report notification come through and I promptly ended that call and then went out and watched the replay of The Rock coming back. And it's not X, it's Twitter to us. Damn it.
Yeah, it is kind of like having to unlearn like Kleenex and Xerox and all that stuff,
That's two totally different things. Kleenex and Xerox.
But as far as like the action of a tweet, I'm tweeting or I'm doing, it's about that same kind of brand. exactly. It's that same kind of brand recognition that you have to try to unlearn that from your lexicon, or at least they want us to.
I am married and have children. I do not have time to learn new social media when you're one thing and then you rebrand. I'm done. I went through WWE, WWF. I'm done. Enough.
Well, for those of us that don't mind social media, follow me on TikTok at EV Cincinnati.
Yes, follow Eric's TikTok. You'll see some fun stuff.
Yeah, I got to actually start making them. Right now, I'm just going down the rabbit hole all the time.
Before we move on, or I'm going to put a pause on the Rock at the moment. Dwayne, don't come after us. You want to enlighten the crowd on what you called me on Sunday and tell the crowd what you did.
No, I don't want to tell them yet. It's going to be a surprise. I think that they can wait long enough.
Shameful.
But, yeah, it's not shameful.
You're in trouble.
I have no shame for it.
You're in big
trouble. If
trouble.
I were married and made that purchase, I might be in trouble, but I'm not. So
you're married
this
to
is more
podcast,
just
pal.
Yeah, and I think that this podcast would approve of what I did. So you guys will find out in a couple of days. Something cool that's going to be added to the ambiance of Mr. Cincinnati's recording space in the very near future.
There's two people on this podcast, and one disagrees with it. I don't think the podcast agrees.
That's fine. Okay, whatever.
It's going to be a good surprise, folks. That's what we call a cliffhanger, but Eric is in trouble on this end of the mic.
I wouldn't necessarily say trouble. It's a happy accident.
It wasn't an accident.
In some circles, they would say that was an accident. But moving left and right along,
you wrote a note in the notes.
I did write a note in the notes. I appreciate that. I appreciate the attention to detail and the meticulousness. I just
this guy. I told you I will file mean paperwork.
Yeah, I think we've given those guys a Platinum Championship enough of our time for right now. We're not going to talk about that anymore. No. But going back to The Rock, now, do you think that this is the start of something here as far as a return? We've seen how WWE uses part-timers in the past. They don't necessarily have as many as they used to anymore. Rock is in an interesting position right now because of the ongoing strikes in Hollywood that, there's not a whole lot in production right now. So it seems like he has the time on his hands to come back and really do just a very, very short run. Do you think that this is the start of something or a one-off, much like we saw 4 years ago?
Yeah, no, the guy that makes movies, has a football league, has his own tequila brand, has his own energy drink brand, has his own clothing line, shoe line, and is a WWE superstar. That guy's got some time. You're right. I don't think this is a return. I don't know if we get to see him wrestle. I know he said something on the Pat McAfee show about they had a handshake agreement about him and Roman at the last WrestleMania. I think if you do it at 40, I think it's a year too late. I think because if it was me booking it, Roman would have gone over and kind of cemented himself as the tribal chief of the Samoan dynasty. I think that story's played out, and I think we've already proven it where we don't need it at this point. I think, and I don't know if it's Roman fatigue because he hasn't really been on TV much, but I think it's I'm ready to see the next chapter and see what's Roman going to do after this. I think we all know that it's going to be Cody and Roman at Mania again, and I would think Cody wins this rematch. I would hope Cody wins the rematch, and what does that look like for Roman next? Do they hold it off a year and then do the match with The Rock? I could see that. I just don't know if it needs. You don't need the world title on that match. It doesn't. It adds nothing to that match. I think if you just do it, those two on their own, I'd be okay with it. Does that speed up a title change? I don't know. But I don't think The Rock's going to come back for. I think this is a one-time appearance. It was a happy accident. They were both in Colorado at the time. SmackDown just happened to be in Denver, and then they were in Boulder. I think it was just a happy accident and a great moment on television, but I don't know if it leads to full time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily thinking full time either, but I mean, there's still some interesting layers that could be played out in the Bloodline story. We also saw John Cena and Solo. It seems like that's going to be the start to a potential program. It would be easy to book a Rock and Cena tag team match versus Roman and Solo. I mean, just a one-off, even if it's at the Rumble or another
Fastlane.
pre-WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber. Yeah, never mind.
Fastlane, please.
Yeah.
Do it at Fastlane.
My bad. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot that Fastlane also used to be like that buffer between Rumble and Mania, so that's where my head immediately went.
No, Fastlane's in like 3 weeks.
Yes, it is. But I think that when it comes to this, I think that they could get 6 months out of this. And again, he doesn't have to be on TV every week. It can just be a super part-time thing. To address another point that you made about kind of the Roman fatigue, I think that while I'm intrigued to see kind of how this full breakup happens involving Solo and Roman and kind of what layer Jimmy plays, this story is getting a little long in the tooth. Think about some of the stuff that we saw with the corporation and the ministry, back in the late 90s. We're getting dangerously close to that here too. I feel like, I think it's great that they wanted to get Roman that 1,000 day accolade, but it's easy to rack up that that time as a champion when you're not on TV every week. And now it is. Is this the time to start to look at what then Roman's next chapter is? And that's going to be a tall task in itself because of the saga that they have built over the last 3 years. But it's also still just feeling like he's just got that Universal Championship held hostage.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, because when he comes back, it's going to feel like a big deal. It always does. But yeah, I think holding the title hostage is kind of the best way to say it. It's, we haven't seen him since the Friday after SummerSlam, I think, and he's not going to be on Fastlane. Is he going to be on Survivor Series? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, is the next time we see Roman at the Rumble? And that's a long time.
Yeah. I just don't. We're in mid-September now, but I don't think you can go another 3 or 4 months without having your world champion show up for that show. It's just, that's too long.
Well, especially because he is the big dominant champion. He is the big guy. He's the guy, and you have challengers that want to face him. Like, you still have a AJ Styles program you can do. They only got one match out of Seth with him. Like, they could do another one with that.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be seen, and I think he's taking some time off to heal a little bit, which
sure.
That's fine. They have had a huge gamble on this title reign, and knock on wood, he hasn't gotten hurt. I think he came out with a minor injury at SummerSlam, and maybe that scared them a little bit because they do have this grand plan of what they're going to do with him. So I can't fault the WWE because they're this far into it now, and you don't want to risk that. But sure. Pre-tape segments, I know Heyman's still there, and hey, I'm calling Roman or that kind of stuff, but just anything like via satellite or something just to keep him in our minds.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, even a little bit would make a major impact in what they do. It's just, I need to see him at least one more time going into it. I know that I don't necessarily think the Survivor Series is going to be all that seismic in terms of stuff for the Bloodline saga. It seems like Survivor Series is very much going to be a Judgment Day War Games. That's just my personal opinion.
I know you don't want to talk about it. He might be there.
Read between the lines, bud.
No, I'm good. I'm all right. I didn't put that on the show notes just for you, but eventually, we will. When it comes closer, we're gonna have to talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk. We can talk about it now. Actually, I think that there were 2 sets of show notes because I also had this as a topic. Great minds think alike, bud.
Guy. Don't you know I'm already bad with technology, and you created 2 show notes?
I didn't mean to. It was a happy accident. All that I'm saying is, this was one of these topics I think that we should get into very briefly. CM Punk, I think it was Cage Fighting Theory Championships over the weekend, did some guest commentating or whatever. And when asked about the termination from AEW, he indicated or insinuated, I guess, that he's got about 2 months of free time left in Survivor Series. Is in Chicago this year.
Yeah.
Do we have to worry about this now? Do we really have to worry about this now? Okay.
Yeah, we do. We have to talk about this for 2 months. We have to. And then we're going to have to talk about leading up to the Rumble.
Yeah. So
it sounds like he's free to go wherever he wants in 2 months.
I would say so. And I mean, especially because we don't really know if there was a non-compete in this contract. We know it was terminated for cause, but whether that translates immediately into a non-compete, remains to be seen. Or is it just him teasing, wanting to come back in Chicago to a raucous home crowd and just disrupting the harmony that WWE has created in the last 9 years?
Well, you got to remember, Vince isn't the boss anymore.
He is not. He's
if,
one of them, but he's not the boss anymore.
If Ari Emanuel wants him, they're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and he had the relationship with the UFC, so.
I'm not an MMA guy, but it just.
What percentage would you give?
As honestly, far as
and him coming back to WWE, in all honesty, no, bull crap or anything like that. Like, what percentage would you put on it?
I mean, realistically, I would say that this is a 50-50 thing. I would even go so far as 60-40. I mean, I think while I am not, a rah-rah CM Punk stan anymore, guy is a needle mover. I'll give him that. Yeah. So
it's definitely
the money that this company is printing. Sure, I guess.
There's definitely a percentage. I think right now I'd give it 25. I think Punk would have to eat a lot of crow and, for lack of a better term, kiss a lot of butt to come back.
No.
And kind of realize what he's coming back to. And in AEW, he had a lot of power. In WWE,
that's not going to be the case.
None. You have no power. You're going to do what they say, and you're going to like it. Is he willing to do that? Guess we'll find out.
Remains to be seen. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Fine. It's been a stressful year dealing with that, man.
That's all right. We got some good news coming down the pike. You want to talk about what's on the ticker right now?
Oh, yeah. So according to PW Insider, Jade Cargill is expected to report to the Performance Center as soon as this week. Now, we don't know if that is to insert herself into the NXT lineup or if this is just kind of the beginning of getting her into the WWE style of professional wrestling. But either way, I really want to see this happen. I mean, she is a prototypical WWE superstar. Has the look, has the energy, has the charisma, has it. Everybody can, she could use some seasoning when it comes to the in-ring work, but it's certainly not anything that, should be ridiculed or anything like that. Like you see a lot of, people doing on social media, but this is a huge opportunity for her. This is a huge opportunity for WWE. They've needed something for a while to add some spark. And while, I know that Nia Jax is not that spark. She's there for depth, but Jade is that spark.
Yeah. She is. I'm gonna keep quiet.
I think I got to the podcast out there.
Nope. I'm gonna keep quiet because I was pretty mean to Nia, and we're gonna let it play out and see what happens.
Yeah.
As a wise man once said. I'm always kind. I just don't think she does anything. Don't get me started. Do not get me started. It's a good Monday. Okay. It's a good Monday.
Well, okay. I will say it was a mediocre Monday. I mean, it would have been a lot better had our friend not gotten kicked and I almost had his head taken off over the weekend.
Well, again, I think we've given them too much publicity as it is, even though I can't say that word, but I think we've given them too much. Okay. What they did was heinous. It was despicable. There will be some legal action, and that's all we can talk about right now. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
As for Jade.
Yes.
If I was booking it, I think I would start her in NXT because do you think she'd get a pop debuting on the main roster? I would be.
It depends on where you do it.
That would be my only hang up on that is, again, I think I said on the last show, we watch everything. Not everybody does that. I think if you're a smart wrestling fan and you enjoy wrestling, you know about Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
I think if you're a casual fan, you have no idea. And what you said, don't debut her in like Des Moines, Iowa. Don't do that. Yeah. Like, I think it would have to be a big show. Like I think if you establish her down in NXT,
I think I
and
know where you're going
then
with this.
or do you go ahead?
You could easily heat her up for Survivor Series, especially if she takes the title off of Becky Lynch, because it is a Chicago crowd. So that is at least the closest that you could get to some sort of home turf that crowd will know who she is. And if you're just worried about that introductory first night pop, then
yeah,
that can be fun. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're fine. I was going to say somewhere a little bit closer to Jacksonville.
Okay.
Down in Tampa at the Royal Rumble. I think you establish her down at NXT. There's a great surprise entry. She has a great showing in the Rumble. Boom, main roster ready.
Yeah. And I think, and I think that where we might be not thinking about this again, because we do watch everything, is that, Solo also didn't spend a whole lot of time in NXT before he was, being involved in Clash of the Castle. So,
yep.
Not everybody that reports to NXT has to have that extended, lengthy run like you see with Roxanne or Cora or other people that have been main roster ready for a while now.
Well, and the fact that Jade has done it in front of a TV crowd, she's done it in front of big audiences in the past. I think it also helps that Cody Rhodes. Yes. I think that's not a bad thing.
Nope.
Hello, Ricky Starks. Please come to WWE. I think you'd be great in WWE.
Yeah, he would be.
But I think if you heat her up for a couple months down at NXT, maybe have her, win the NXT women's title and then debut it in the Rumble, I think you'd get what you were looking for. And then boom, you're right off to WrestleMania. Why can't the NXT women's title be on WrestleMania? We've seen it before. And, debut her right after the night after WrestleMania, make that Raw after Mania feel big again. Have her come in, drop the NXT title like on the ground or whatever and say, I'm here now. I'm ready to face Rhea or Bianca, whoever the champion is at that time.
I like that. Actually, I do really like that.
You're welcome.
I don't know. I think overall, it's just exciting to have somebody of her caliber that is coming over to WWE. I mean, this is one of the more major, jumping of the ship behind Cody, I think, but that's just me.
Is Cody the only one? I'm trying to think of anybody else that's come from AEW to WWE. Because AEW is going right now on that 5-year mark where it seems like a lot of their talent was signed to.
Yeah. I'll have to look that up. I can't necessarily think of anybody that comes to mind other than, obviously Cody and now potentially Jade.
Brian Pillman Jr. That's one.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of any more.
I think that would be it. At least, yeah. I mean, if anybody out there knows of any, hit us up on social by using that QR code in the corner.
We're about to go off a side street. Do you see? Yeah, we are, because I'm gonna take us there. Do you see?
Okay.
Do you see more of this happening here soon? Like, do you see more AEW talent jumping the WWE, or do you think that'll be paused because of the merger and kind of figuring out where the budget is? Or does that play into, hey, I want to go over to WWE now because Vince isn't the boss?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see, because we've already seen the mass layoffs from the employee side when it comes to WWE over the week, and that was over 100 people. Like I said, I mean, I think I said to you, let's see how the next 60 days go, and then see if any talent is released as a result of any potential budget cuts there, even though they really don't need to do that right now.
Yeah.
But I would want to wait that out before seeing what else might happen.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, a little fun. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's all right. We're gonna get some black armbands as well. That
they're already ordered. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, we sympathize with you, bud. We hear you. We see you. Now, a couple of other things that kind of happened on SmackDown. Obviously, LA Knight is just running the game right now. Top 5 selling shirts on WWE Shop. Yeah, no big deal. We've also been talking about Roman Reigns and kind of what's next for him. LA Knight felt like a credible challenger for Roman, and his delivery of things. I think that they could make that match happen. That's just me. What do you think?
I'm nervous. I'm real nervous about that match, man.
Why is that, bud?
He's not going to beat Roman.
That's fine. I mean, people can look good in a loss.
Which I agree, but WWE doesn't have the best track record with that.
True.
He cut a great promo on SmackDown. I mean, he cut a great promo. Of course, he cut a great promo. I think him and Paul Heyman going back and forth would be really fun.
Yeah.
Again, I worry that is this too fast? They finally seem like they have gotten behind LA Knight. What's LA Knight's best win so far?
Slim Jim Battle Royal.
Yeah.
That was the one that. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a good point. That is a good point. But it feels like they put some respect on him.
No, I agree.
In the weeks since,
But you want me to suspend my disbelief and go into a pay-per-view match. It's LA Knight and Roman Reigns, and I'm going into that match knowing there is a 0.000% chance that LA Knight's going to win this. Like I don't want to see that yet. I just don't.
Okay, that's fair. It's
good that he's dropping names, and they seem like okay, they're going to push him as this mega baby face as they should, but get him some better wins. Like he's beating the Miz. That's not good enough.
But he did get the John Cena rub, so there's that.
He did. And
that helps.
I worry about it because, man, he's going to lose the Roman. People are not going to be happy. And how do you follow that up?
Would it be different if we got LA versus Roman? Let's say this is something in a post-Universal Championship run. Would that make things, would that change your mind about wanting to see that match?
Yes, because LA Knight could beat him.
Okay.
I would give that percentage a little bit more because I think LA Knight would have a fighting chance to beat him because that's how you want to keep establishing him. But as of right now, no. Don't do that match. There are heels that you can pair him up with to get him to that upper echelon. I don't know if right now is the time to do it because when would they do it? Is it? Yeah. I don't think they do it at Survivor Series.
Probably not.
Roman's not doing Fastlane. I doubt that they do it at the Rumble because they will probably want him in the Rumble for a big spot. Chamber, maybe. We've seen that kind of No Way Out Chamber pay-per-view as kind of a hey, let's see what happens match with the world champion at times. It's not going to happen at Mania. So maybe it is something post-Mania, but for them to tease it this early gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, but they've also done a very good job of establishing a formula for long-term storytelling, especially if it's creative that could potentially involve Roman Reigns. So, if LA Knight is subtly calling a shot and then takes the next, 6 months up until WrestleMania to prove himself and continue to become to be the white hot megastar babyface that we know that he is and can be.
Yeah,
I think it'd be fine for like a SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, if it's or not for the title and Roman's already past that in his career, cool. I'm all in.
Yeah,
but not for the title because you will not convince me that LA Knight can win that. No matter how much you build him, how much promo time he gets, no matter how good the video package is, no matter how many near falls he's going to get in the match. I mean, Cody didn't do it at Mania. What makes you think LA Knight's going to do it at the Royal Rumble? Like I just don't.
True.
I would want to see him win. I don't know if him losing would help him at this point.
That's fair, especially when we're thinking about also the fact that he could have been Mr. Money in the Bank. Like that would have at least made it more believable, I think, for you. As far as if he's got a contract and cash in at a vulnerable moment, then that's one way to take the title off of him. But you'd rather just
yeah. And the other thing too is like he's not this, plucky underdog character. He's not an Orange Cassidy. He's not a Chad Gable where nobody ever gave him a chance. Like this dude carries himself like a star, and I just don't know if losing helps him at this point. You may have different opinion on this, but like I haven't really gotten your opinion on it. What do you think this is a title match, and is it a good idea?
I mean, it's just tough, man. It just really is. It's really just tough. And I think that maybe it's just for me. I'm maybe starting to get a little bit of the fatigue setting in when it comes to Roman in general. Still love the guy, don't get me wrong, but it's just I don't know. I'm ready for that other. I'm ready for that other shoe to drop. You know.
Yeah. I'm kind of that same way that I'm ready to see what's next for Roman after this. I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out. That's why we keep watching. That's why we like wrestling, because they always trick us and swerve us, pal, or bro, swerve.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So what else we got to talk about here? Oh yeah, dude, Street Profits finally letting some of that frustration out, coming in and cheap shot on Rey Mysterio and attacking Cruz and Del Toro or
Yeah,
Cruz
Del Toro.
and yeah, okay. I still want to call them Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde.
You will not. You call them by their WWE names.
Those were their WWE names.
Not anymore, pal.
Yeah, I know. But one thing I did notice about this, I liked that they only took one shot at Ray as opposed to a full-fledged attack. So there's still some restraint being shown by the Street Profits. But dude, this new look for them is just love it. Love the new tag team finisher. They're finally starting, like, you can tell they're starting to feel comfortable in that role as heels.
Yeah, and Bobby will get it out of them. Don't worry. There will be more attacks coming. Yeah, I like the presentation of the group. I think it'll be good. I think Bobby needs to be, have some matches, I think, to keep establishing the group. Like there's a guy that could challenge Roman. We haven't gotten that in the title run yet.
No.
And that's the Hurt Business or whatever they're calling them right now, against the Bloodline.
Suit Profits.
Yeah. Street Business. I don't know. Like that's a program that I'd like to watch, because Lashley and Roman had a good match back in the day. When Lashley first came back, and it was a good match.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them, tear it up again. Again, further down the road, that could be a big win for LA Knight. We always go back to your heels in the company. That's a big win for LA Knight, and that could help get him to Roman if you establish this new group as a dominant faction. I like that they teased a little bit with Judgment Day. I think it was a couple weeks ago or a week ago. Time flies. I don't know. I don't even know what day. I don't even know what year it is at this point. But I like this dynamic in the WWE, and we've talked about it with kind of the BCC that, yeah, they're heelish, but I'm still going to cheer them no matter what. And do they kind of lean into that, or are they really going to make me boo this new group? So we'll find out. I like that we're the Street Profits were in a little bit of a rut, I think, over the last year, where they weren't really doing much. But this is good for them. So I'm excited to see the next development, and hopefully this leads to a Bianca heel turn, because she could use a little bit of freshening up too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could be an exciting next chapter for everybody involved here. And Bobby's also really needs something to sink his teeth into since he came back. We were there for his return at the house show a few months ago, and it seems like they'd still kind of been stalling on kind of what's next for him. But I think this could be a real opportunity for them.
Omos. That was Johnny Gargano's return. Did you see that a couple weeks ago?
No, thank you. I don't. You'll have to refresh my memory.
Johnny Gargano returned. He was either it might have been last week, to a house show and lost to Omos. So maybe we'll see him soon, but Omos is still a thing.
If it's with MVP, I guess it's tolerable.
No, put MVP with these new Street Profits, Hurt Business thing, and
yeah, that could be fun.
money.
Yeah.
Come on.
It could be something. It could be something.
It could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
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 Don't you triggered something in me. Don't do that. And I'm wearing the shirt. You can't do that.
It's just, hey, I didn't tell you to put that on.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. I just told you what I was wearing. Yeah. Again, justice for Bryce.
Justice for Bryce. Exactly. Yes. Eric knows.
Yeah, always. Let's move on over to the land of the elite, bud.
Do we have to?
It's literally in the notes.
I know. I put them in there too.
Yeah. So we do kind of have to.
I'm just being a heel.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I take
just
it you watch Collision.
The numbers up because hate views are still views, baby.
Ratings, pal. So real talk. Did you watch Collision?
I did.
Good for you. I was at Oktoberfest.
I watched bits and pieces of it. I won't say I watched the whole thing. It was on
Past
the
your bedtime?
iPad. No, it was on the iPad. I had college football on the big TV, and Collision was on the iPad. So I was double screening it.
Very nice. Very nice. I wish that they were doing that down at Oktoberfest so I could watch something else other than Bearcats getting murdered.
We're not talking about that. Don't even.
Yeah, it's been a rough weekend.
Don't even. Well.
Nope.
I don't have a Baltimore Ravens shirt, so I can't wear one. But
that's fine. Yeah.
I do have yellow. Is that one of their colors?
Nope.
Yellow.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing this. Anyway, we're talking AEW. You watched Collision. Take me through what it is that you saw so I can react to it, and you can ask me questions now.
So the biggest thing I saw was Statlander beat Britt Baker. Statlander looks fantastic. I mean,
was this a championship match or just a non-title?
It was for the TBS title. They main evented.
Okay.
A really good match. Statlander she's leveled up, and I think she's ready to move up in that division. I think this TBS title was a little bit of a test run and kind of see what we have and see how people react. Yeah. But man, she's firing on all cylinders, getting a win over Britt Baker. I mean, she wrestled, Jade on Friday, Jade on Rampage, and then you have Britt on this one. Like, those are two huge wins, and I can easily see her moving up in this women's division, which they desperately need. I think they're kind of in this outcasts kind of thing, and that will subside here soon. But she is a baby face, that people can get behind because of her sympathy, because she has those 2 knee injuries and how hard she worked to get back.
Yeah. She's got a chip on her shoulder now. Yeah.
And they continue to tell that story, and it'd be amazing. So yeah, we saw her live. What are your thoughts on Statlander?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with anything that you just said. Again, she, it's just a leveled up Chris Statlander right now. And I mean, if there was an award for comeback wrestler of the year, I mean, she's one of them. She's got a damn good argument for it. I would love to see her continue to dominate this TBS championship division. I mean, we've seen, the lengthy title run that Jade had. I could see Chris Statlander especially being the equivalent of Orange Cassidy with the International Championship, where it's just she's your new workhorse for that division. If Jade is on her way out, just have her, focus that division around her and just let her run through everybody,
And she's in that group. She's in the best friends. So that would seem to, that would lead to something. Speaking of Orange Cassidy, Orange Cassidy and Hook will be teaming up at Grand Slam, I think Rampage, not Dynamite, but they will be teaming up. So it seems like we're going that route. I don't know if that does anything for you.
We'll see. We've seen Hook do the tag team thing. I think I just want him to have a singles run right now. Let him do his thing. Orange Cassidy. I mean, it's good that they're still wanting to feature him on TV every week, even though he's not the champion. I mean, he's still very much a priority to them. But it'd be a cool match, I'm sure.
Why do you think we always get stuck with Hook in a tag team? This will be his 3rd tag team.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because it was Hookhausen, Jungle Hook, and now Orange Cassidy and Hook, whatever they name this team. Like, why do you think that's the fallback for him?
It's a good question. I mean, because especially when you present him properly, he is, he's a squash match king. I mean, that match with Jack Perry was probably his best AEW match, of his career at that point, and certainly one that was the most physically demanding for him, and really took, he had to showcase more than just the, come in, tap him out, and leave. I don't know why. I mean, he's a very marketable guy. He's got the look. It's that ice water in his veins. Like there's something that you can do with that. There's presentation there. I mean, imagine him running around with the international championship too. Build him up to be that guy that can just be all kinds of ruthless and just
Yeah, I don't know if he's international title level yet. I think you.
I mean, certainly not anytime soon. But
I think he'd be more TNT title at this point. Whatever that is anymore. Christian Cage, we respect you. Please don't talk about my dad. He's still alive, so I should be fine.
He's not into it.
We also saw the Workhorsemen. I'm not sure if you're super familiar with them.
I am, yes.
So they will be challenging FTR for the tag titles at some point.
I like it.
And forgive me if they've already announced it. I'm sorry. It was on mute. Sorry.
It's okay.
We also saw a weird promo with Keith Lee where they came into it. Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
So they came into it, and you're focused on Keith Lee and the interviewer, a blonde lady. I'm sorry, I don't know your name right now. It's escaping me. But we saw a guy go, okay, take 22. And then they kind of sat there for a second, and then they went into the promo. So I don't know if that was a botch. I don't know if that was something that they're playing into his character. It's just weird.
Yeah, okay.
And Keith Lee's AEW run has been weird.
Yeah, it's just, how do you not know what to do with a guy like that? Seriously.
So
it should not be that difficult.
We've talked about this off pod. We've talked about this in person. It's now two companies that seem to have struggled with what to do with Keith Lee. Is it a Keith Lee issue?
But I guess the question is, what potentially could that issue be?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't. We're not there. We don't know what's happening, but it's two companies that really just don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's just, it's ridiculous, and I apologize. I'm getting distracted. There's some more jaw jacking going on over X regarding our boy, and this is getting out of hand here. So, yeah, for real. If Dominic Stuckey has something he wants to say about Bryce, he can say it to our faces too.
Why don't you come in the chat and say it then? Why don't you hop on the stream and say it in the chat? No, stop tweeting.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, we've given these guys enough of our time today. I apologize, everybody. So yeah, back to Collision and back to Keith Lee. It's just, I just don't know what the formula could be. But I mean, it's not like he's going to be rising the ranks anytime soon. It seems like he's just mired in a weird purgatory. Is it, maybe it's something where he considers going to Japan or Impact.
And it's weird we haven't gotten the Keith Lee Swerve blow off.
Yeah,
like they had a story and they definitely had something there. We just never got it, and I don't think we're ever going to get it now.
Yeah, it'll be lost to the annals of history, along with Sting versus The Undertaker, the driver of that white Hummer, and that best of 7 match that we were still supposed to get between Claudio and Sheamus. So yeah,
well, the Righteous were also on Collision, another ROH team. Aussie Open was on
Aussie
Rampage, so we've seen a little bit more influx of ROH talent. The Kingdom was also there.
Fun.
So we're seeing a little bit more of that. Keith Lee, he was challenged by Shane Strickland. So that seems to be a program. I don't know if that means Keith Lee's going to
or Shane Taylor.
ROH. Shane Taylor, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if that means maybe Keith Lee's heading over to ROH for a while, or maybe we're getting Shane Taylor on AEW. Again, just it was a weird segment.
I'd really like Keith Lee versus Samoa Joe.
Yeah, that's a lot of
man meat. Yeah.
That's a lot. We also got the announcement of a Texas death match between Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks.
Love that.
That's going to be crazy because Danielson's just going to go all out.
Yep.
And then I don't know if you saw it, but I tweeted something at the Junkies pod over the weekend.
You did, and I'm glad that you did because I got to watch that segment and it was just fabulous.
Go ahead and enlighten the audience.
So everybody's favorite wrestling auntie RJ City interviewed Tony Storm, and it was a very it was a very telling interview as far as how she feels about Saraya now and going into their match at Dynamite Grand Slam. She's doing the best work of her career right now. This Hollywood starlet gimmick is just absolutely perfect. I mean, concerned about the lighting and always just the how she carries herself. Just the presentation is just such a unique character, and it's such a throwback to the golden age of professional wrestling in the 40s and 50s, and it's being backed up by somebody that can just straight go in the ring too. So this is going to be a really exciting match. Is it? I guess my question for you, for starters, is it too soon to have this match?
No, because I don't think Tony's going to win.
Okay.
And I think that'll just have her go deeper and deeper into madness, and we're going to get an just crazy unhinged Tony Storm.
I like that.
That will probably eventually win the title, but they can save that because I don't think you want to do it on a Dynamite. I think you'd rather do that on a big pay-per-view. They're going to have 12 of those coming up, so every year or every month. It looks like that's what's happening with the rumors about them going to Max and everything. That seems to be the direction they're going. So I think you'd want to save this for a pay-per-view rather than a Dynamite special.
Yeah, and especially now, like you said, now that we're going into the potential 12 shows a year model, it's just...
I don't think it's potential.
I don't know if it's been officially announced, but, I just say potential until then, it's just...
I would say it's probably at the goal line. I mean, they don't know how much longer this Hollywood strike's going to be.
Yeah,
they're going to need content. I think it's coming.
Sure. Yeah, and do you think that they're going to start to phase out the Grand Slams and the Fighter Fests and things like that now that we have gotten to once it gets to 12 shows?
I hope not, because that's kind of what's made AEW a little bit more unique. That they've had these special episodes of Dynamite, the Grand Slam, the Winter's Coming, the Fighter Fest, the Fight for the Fallen, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I like that branding. It's unique. It's something that sets them apart in the market. They can get rid of Battle of the Belts. I don't think we need that one anymore.
No, those are. We've never been crazy about those anyway.
Well, there's never any big titles on them.
So
I think that might go away.
It doesn't feel like those shows get a lot of chance. They don't really get to breathe, and that's another kind of criticism I have of Rampage too, is that it just feels like it is just bang, 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 bang.
It's an hour.
Yeah, I know, but
you got to fit in as much as you can. Like again, I think Rampage should go away, and they should make a Ring of Honor. We've talked about that at length.
Yeah.
I don't make those decisions. I don't get paid to make those decisions. If you want me to,
we're hireable.
My resume over. Yeah. Come on, Tony. I'll do whatever you need.
Yeah.
I'll file paperwork.
Right.
I'll book Ring of Honor for you.
Yeah. Let's see how let's just handle the Georgia thing first, and then we'll send our stuff off to TK. Okay.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I refuse to talk about that.
That's good.
We've been on the podcast for 48 minutes, and we've mentioned them 5 times.
Yeah.
They're on Twitter tweeting at you. They're chirping. Yep. Like I said, come into the live stream and come talk to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or why don't you come on the podcast? Say what you need on the podcast.
Yeah.
We are here. We're not going anywhere.
We're approachable dudes, but we don't like how you're treating our boy.
And if you have your reasoning, Eric and I are, I would say we are not compassionate people, but we are understanding.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, come on and say it. We might disagree with that issue. We will be respectful with it. But as you know, Bryce Cannon is the world champion. You don't treat the world champion like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you don't. Anything else we should talk about here while we're on today, bud? I think we've again, it was an awesome weekend for the most part, but now here we are into another week.
If you like Cincinnati sports, it wasn't the best weekend. I had to say it, guys.
Did you?
Bengals are
Did you?
0-2. UC, which University of Cincinnati, for those who don't know, it was a tough weekend for us. Lost to the University of Miami for the first time since 2005.
God, it's been that long.
Yeah, yeah. Oklahoma is going to destroy us.
And let's hold out a little bit of hope.
Destroy us. Yeah, I think the only thing that they have announced so far is Nakamura and Ricochet for tonight.
That'll be fun.
I mean, we saw it 2 weeks ago, but we also get Cody and Dominic in a one-on-one match.
Okay. I don't really need that
Jay
again,
and
but
Drew in the one-on-one, and that seems to be it so far. So that'll be that Jay and Drew match will be very telling to see where Jey Uso is in the pecking order. Do we get the full-fledged heel turn tonight from Drew?
I think that you should. I it's been slow enough that and especially if he goes back to the Scottish psychopath, character.
Don't tease me.
It can just it doesn't. You don't really need to slow burn this one. The slow burn heel turn is perfectly fine with the Street Profits and far them trying to find their footing of what it is they can do because they never really been heels before. He has been a heel before, and he's crushed it as a heel before. At this point, he's got revenge on his mind. Okay, he should, in his mind, be world champion right now, and the bloodline certainly helped to make sure that didn't happen. And Jay might be out, but those prior sins that won't be soon forgotten.
No, I would agree. Do you think we get any more announcements for Fastlane tonight? They haven't really. I mean, I still don't think there's a match announced.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, we're about 3 weeks out from this show. Let's start to build this card. I think we have an idea that there's likely going to be another rematch between Nakamura and Rollins, potentially just kind of their blow off.
Yep.
Gunther versus Gable, I think, and then something involving Rhea for sure.
Do you think it'll be? So I put it in the notes. We didn't touch on it. We touched on it a little bit. Do you think it'll be AJ and Cena versus Jimmy and Solo at the pay-per-view? Could you see them doing that?
Yeah, that could be really cool. I mean, eventually Cena is going to have to get back into the ring. So far, he's only done talking segments and wrestled one match over in India. So, you're not paying John Cena to talk for the next 8 weeks. So I would imagine that we'll probably see a Cena match at Fastlane.
Would you like to see a Cena match?
Since we're planning to be in the crowd, yes, I would.
Okay. Take us out of the crowd. Take us at home. Would you like to see a John Cena match, considering his last showing at Mania? At Mania, not the India one.
Yeah, I would imagine that he will probably – I mean, again, he's also affected by the strike as well right now. So, I don't know. I think that this would be a different circumstance. I'd be willing to give it one more shot because he's not really had any stinkers like that, over his overall body of work. So I think that there might be some more mental redemption. You have to think that he has at least heard the criticism around that match, over the last 6 months. So I think that, that'd be some motivation if it were me.
Yeah, and you could hide him in a tag team match with AJ for sure.
And that's what they did the last SmackDown of the year.
Yeah, which I think would be really, really fun for Fastlane.
Yeah.
You're not going to have Roman, but you can still have that bloodline presence. Still have Jimmy kind of trying to take Solo away, kind of still play with that storyline. Yeah, I'm excited to see this continued build towards Fastlane. Your biggest needle mover should probably be on the show tonight, and we'll see where they go with her. Nia Jax. That's you're the biggest Nia Jax fan I've ever met.
I'm not saying the biggest. I just don't think that there needs to be all of the online hate that she gets, for being, unsafe or, especially anything related to her size or how she looks or anything like that. Those are, that's how empty-headed people get their shitty stuff. So we're not going to do that here.
Things.
Yeah.
Two totally different things.
Just saying.
I'm not going to judge on the side. I don't care about that.
I know.
I care about the safety of the issue, though.
That's fair. That's fair.
And hopefully that's gotten better.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it ain't ballet, pal. I mean, everybody knows what they're getting into, and
it's not our place. I run a rope. I probably fall to the ground I'm not gonna lie. I take a bump, I'm probably not getting up. But you go in there and you trust the person you're with. So hopefully that it's gotten better. Some news did come out and say she's been training with Charlotte a little bit. So hopefully that's
cool. Yeah.
That's been beneficial.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that, let's just, again, we haven't seen anything yet. We don't know where they're going to go with it. Wait and see, like we always do. And we'll just, end it there and I guess push it here.
Yeah. That's the saddest I think I've ever said. What a moment.
That was great.
Yeah, that's fine. Losing faith. I mean, you can't even win in India.
Yeah, I mean, did you really think that?
Starting to lose.
Did you really think that Cena and Rollins were gonna do a job overseas?
Yes. I did.
Oh,
I could see Cena doing it.
You poor soul. Okay.
Well, Mansoor won in Saudi Arabia, so who knows.
Fair enough. Anything else that we have?
Now you made me sad.
I'm sorry.
No, you made me sad.
It's been a very emotional day on this show. I know that.
Yes, justice for Bryce Cannon.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything? Final thoughts on the world of wrestling today, bud?
Yeah, we have a couple announcements on for the show. If you want to go ahead and tell us that, some exciting news.
No, I want you to do that. I want you to I want you to lift your spirits here. Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I do.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You're so nice.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we're moving to 5 days a week. We will have one of the kind of longer episodes a week. That will probably include, a weekend recap, your preview shows, your recap shows from a pay-per-view, our interviews and such like that. Those will probably be the longer shows. And then if we don't have anything going on that week, we will do at least one of the hour to hour and a half shows. But the other 4 shows during the week will be a crisp, breezy,
condensed
30 minutes. Condensed, yes, that's a great word. A 30-minute podcast, 30 to 35 minute. Eric is going to set the timer and then cut us off immediately. So we will have to. Oh, CM Punk's here. We will have to. It's clobbering time. We will have to not veer, see what I did there, on our different lanes. We will have to kind of condense it a little bit, but we'll kind of go over, just kind of the top 5 issues or news items or, what we saw on TV of the day. And we'll make it brief and we'll give you guys just kind of a condensed version of what we're doing now. We're excited to expand this. Excited to hear you guys' feedback and see if this is something that you enjoy. Yeah. If not, tell us. And if you do, also tell us.
Yeah, share, subscribe.
Either way, exactly. Either way, share, subscribe, follow us. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Well, hopefully, you guys, word of mouth, get some more guys and gals on board. Have us listen to us, and just very, very exciting news that I get to see Mr. Cincinnati at least 5 days a week now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited for this format change, and again, stick with us for the ride. We're having a lot of fun doing this, so. Check out that QR code, share, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you know what's going on with us. I just have one more thing that I want to point out. Just at the end of the day, just turn your attention to the clicker. He did it. No issues today.
Take that.
I'm very proud of you, buddy. That is just
that technology.
That is fantastic. That's just the way that's the way to be.
Now watch. I'm not going to have Wi-Fi for the rest of the night because you just did that.
Nah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Don't worry about it.
My alarm clock's not going to go off tomorrow morning because of you.
No, whatever. It'll be fine. Well,
technology does no jobs, pal. This is the Steve Austin Rock feud of this podcast. This is the Roman Reigns 3-year run. I'm coming for your technology. Don't you worry about it.
Oh, you got it. For the Wrestling Junkies podcast, I'm Mr. Cincinnati on behalf of the podcast Dad. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We will be talking to you guys tomorrow.
Justice for Bryce.
Absolutely.